Hi all, as promised, this is my second little video, and today I will show you how to get into your Pathways e-learning. As you can see, again, we go into www.toastmasters.org, which is the Toastmasters International website. And you can also see that I'm already logged in because I can see my name at the top here. The quickest way to get into your Pathways is to actually click on Welcome Your Name at the top, which will take you to your individual profile. Please note there is some information here about yourself, but the place I want to go to is Basecamp. Now, Basecamp is a separate platform that Toastmasters International use for their e-learning packages. You don't have to know a separate URL. Every single time you want to access your Pathways, make sure you just sign in to your Toastmasters profile, and then from there you can get to Basecamp quite easily. So go to Basecamp. My club is Lincoln to Speakers. That's correct. So I can just press go, and it will automatically change the URL to the Basecamp URL. So you don't have to remember it. It automatically takes you to the platform where the e-learning sits. It looks slightly different from the website, as you can see, and it has a couple of extra functionalities here, but this is where you access your e-learning, your pathway. The pathway that you have signed up will be visible here on this platform. If I click on Paths and Learning, it will actually take me to an overview of the pathways that I have. Now, I'm signed up to a couple of pathways already, so you might just see one bar here, depending on where you are on your journey. So let's have a look. So I've signed up to Motivational Strategies, which is one of my pathways. On the right here, it says Open Curriculum. If I want to go into that specific pathway, I just click Open Curriculum and it will take you to the next part of the pathway. Each path is made up of 5 levels: level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Ideally, you work through it level by level, which is probably the best thing to do, specifically if you are a starter. As you progress into pathways, you can work on things simultaneously, but really your path, your level only counts when the previous level has been completed. So just be aware of that. As with all pathways, the level 1 looks very similar on all paths. It always starts with an icebreaker speech, which is the speech that really you use to introduce yourself to the club, or to reintroduce yourself to the club if it's your second pathway. Then you have a couple of speeches here: writing a speech with purpose, which is your second project on your level 1. Introduction to vocal variety and body language is another project. And then you have evaluation and feedback as your 4th project, before you can then complete on your level 1. So how do I access each of these levels and the e-learning that sits behind it? Again, look for the blue buttons. When it says activate, it means that you have not yet had a look at those pathways. So as you can see, none of these have been activated, so this is a brand new path for me. At the top here sits a little bit extra information. Obviously, we are in level 1 on one of my pathways. It says no modules have been completed, but I require a minimum of 5 projects. Now, you might go, well, wait a second, there's only 4 sections here. Now, some modules requires you to do 2 projects in the one module. So for example, your evaluation and feedback requires you to do your speech get an evaluation, a third-party evaluation from one of your peers, and then it requires you to do the same speech or another speech again, but embedding the feedback that you have been given from your first speech, if that makes sense. So that's where the 5 comes in. And this is true of all pathways. Your level 1 has those 4 modules and requires you to do 5 speeches. So as I activate the first one, you can see things changing. The button has now turned into a launch button. As I launch into this, and this will take a little bit of time, what actually happens is it creates a second page that will bring your e-learning to the front. This will always take a little bit of time, so a little patience is required, but you will soon see what that looks like. There we go. So most modules will start with a page that clarifies which module you are on and a simple format at the bottom here that tells you where to go. There's a little drop down section here. Should you come back to it and you think, oh, I've already done half the e-learning, but I was at part 3, so you can jump to different areas on the e-learning should you need to. But let's suggest that you are coming into this new, you press on begin, and that's where really your journey into the e-learning starts. There are embedded within each of the modules, videos, audio files, PDFs to download. There's lots of things that you can interact with throughout. I'm just going to go through. As you can see, it will start playing videos. And then you come to an introduction. Right. Each of the modules has an assess your skills short questionnaire before you start your e-learning and before you do your project. And then you are expected to go back into your e-learning, because at the end of the module is a similar questionnaire that you can complete afterward. And it's just to ask you the same questions and to see whether anything has changed for you. So the questions may include things, I feel relaxed when giving a speech, and you're asked to score yourself, which is very straightforward. As you go through, you will find different things, the competencies that this module focuses on. It will tell you the value of it, how to plan your speech, and looking ahead. Again, it has little videos, and it has also something to look out for. It has worksheets to download. So you can download those and print those at home. And those worksheets are really useful when you're trying to plan a speech, because it gives you great little questions and great little suggestions on how to structure your speech, particularly at the beginning of your journey as a member of the club. You work through. Sometimes you come to a section and you're tempted to go forward, but actually within the section, there are a couple of things to read through. So just note that that may be the case. Same here. You might have to click through, apologies. You might have to click through some of the sections as you go through. It's because of it's the first time I'm here, and it gives you extra little bit of information at the bottom, but I'm just going to ignore those for now. But they're helpful suggestions of how to click through. Here too, make sure you click through all of it, have a read, and then carry on. Okay. Also embedded in your e-learning are your evaluation resources. So you've got a project checklist, again, a useful document to make sure that you've done everything that you need to do to achieve the module. And then at the end here, you have your evaluation resource. The evaluation resource is a sheet that you give to the person who evaluates you on your project, and they will complete that as you do your project and give it back to you so that you have live feedback on the project that you've done. You can print your project, excuse me. You can print your project. So that is your the materials in a PDF format. Should that be of preference to you, you can download that and you can print that for yourself if you want to. Again, a reminder of your worksheet, a little suggestion on how to evaluate. That's probably a little video to watch, and your feedback page. And then you come to the assess your skill after. Now, as mentioned before, as you work through your module, once you completed your module, you do your speech or your project in the club. You get evaluation from a peer. You come back to the e-learning. This is when you jump and you need to complete your assess your skills, in this case, after. If you don't complete this, your module will not be shown as completed. So please make sure that as you have done your project, you go back into your e-learning and you complete the last bit of your e-learning module, which is assess your skill after. As you work through that, that's when you've completed your module. You can then go back to your first page. No, that's not quite right. I'm not quite sure why it isn't showing just yet. It might be a case of refreshing it. But this module doesn't show like it hasn't done anything to it. The reason is because I haven't done the assess your skill before and the assess your skill after. So it just shows you as you do those little bits of interaction, the curriculum will allow you to move on then to your second speech and close off that first module, your icebreaker module. That's where I'm going to leave it for now. If you have any questions, always make sure that you ask. I'm always happy to answer further questions, and if need be, to create another video to just explain extra bits and pieces to you. But I hope this has helped you to access your e-learning, and I look forward to your next speech. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at the next club night. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.